Have you tried these from Nutiva? The squeezable coconut manna. This particular one is almond. They also have chocolate. They're really cool because you can keep them in your purse or with you. They get kind of melted, but you don't have to refrigerate them. So then if you get a snack attack, you can do this. It has a little bit of coconut sugar in it, so you don't want to overdo it, but these are really nice, and we're going to be talking about coconut today. Hi, Regina Tyndall, nutritional therapy consultant for Old Paths Natural Market. And today in my kitchen, we're going to be making some coconut pudding. Very simple, very easy, very nutritious. So we're going to start off with this young organic coconut from, it's a Thai coconut, which is what is generally recommended, the most nutritious. You know, coconuts have been revered for their nutrition for generations, like in Hawaii, the Pacific Islands. They thought it would cure anything, any illness, and they're loaded with vitamins and minerals and amino acids, lots of good fat, fiber, so you're really getting a lot out of this little bitty coconut. But I had a dilemma. I didn't know how to open a coconut, so I asked my friend James to join us, and he's going to show us how to open up a coconut. So he joined me at the store a couple of weeks ago. Take a look. Okay, so we are here with James, who is going to tell us a little bit about these young coconuts and how to open them and how he uses them. He is the one that introduced me to using fresh coconut, and I didn't even know that that was a thing. So, hi.
Hi. So anyway, this is a young coconut. They start off, they're kind of like the shape of a football, and they're green. They cut the outer rind off of the coconut, and then you have this husk material inside that's left over, and they grind it down into this shape basically to knock weight off of the coconut, so it's cheaper to ship it across the country. So that's why it ends up looking like this. And what's underneath this husk is actually the round brown coconut that everybody's used to seeing. When they're young like this, the water inside the coconut is very sweet. As they age, it becomes more like just normal water. Some people actually claim it to be bitter. It's just more of a water. The meat inside a young coconut is almost like a jelly at first, and it progressively gets thicker, whiter, and harder until it actually gets to a point to where you can flake it and break it in the mature coconuts. Just a side note for anybody that's curious as to how safe the water is inside of a coconut. The young coconuts in World War II, the water inside the coconut was actually used as an IV for soldiers to keep them alive during surgery when they ran out of saline.
Wow.
So it went straight into the bloodstream. And also in the Philippines, they actually refer to the coconut tree as the tree of life. They use the entire tree for clothing, shelter, food, just about anything you can think of, they use the coconut tree for. So the first thing we want to do is we want to actually take the husk off of the top of the coconut, and it really doesn't take a lot of effort. I mean, I'd recommend having a sharp knife, it helps, but what we're doing is actually getting down to, that's the actual coconut right there underneath the husk. And as we're shaving it down, you'll actually see the coconut start to appear. And so this is the coconut underneath the husk. We don't have to take the entire husk off, so don't worry, this isn't a 3-hour process. And as you can see, there's little lines on the coconut, and what you want to do is they'll be almost in the shape of a T, and you want to catch the coconut about right here and just put the blade of the knife right into the side of the coconut and just whack it. And then the top just pops right off.
Wow, that was easy.
So, and then
Look how much water.
yeah, and then they can carry up to an entire liter of water in one coconut. And this water right here you can drink right now just like this. I mean, you might want to strain it because it could have little pieces of the husk or pieces of the shell in the water. I mean, it's because we are attacking it with a knife. And then as far as getting the meat off, there's a bunch of tools out there to do this, but literally you just take a spoon, and I'm not digging into it or anything, and it just takes the meat right off of the coconut. And then same thing with the inside. You just kind of get in there and just work your way around the coconut. And you're doing the exact same thing. I mean, it takes a little longer. You got to kind of, pay attention. But once again, like I said, there's no effort to it. And then you just start scooping the meat out. Just like that. There's nothing to it. And like I said, they do sell a bunch of tools. I've never bought any of them because I've never found the need to own them. And I have done several hundred of these, so I might be a little better than some people. But trust me, there's relatively nothing to it.
Wow.
So.
And so you said, how many coconuts do you go through a week, you and your wife?
9 to 10.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
So how would you incorporate this meat?
Mostly what we do with it is smoothies. The water and the meat we put directly into a smoothie. Using real coconut. I mean, it's all real. Using a fresh coconut. Whenever you puree this into a blender, into a smoothie, it actually liquefies almost completely. So there's no, it's not like chunks of coconut in your smoothie.
Like it would if you were using the shredded, dehydrated.
Right, when they dehydrate it and freeze it, that never breaks down completely in a blender. We've never been able to get it to break down completely.
Me either, actually.
This right here completely liquefies.
Wow.
It tastes absolutely delicious. I love it. The health benefits from it are
creamy.
Yes.
Makes it very creamy.
It definitely helps with that. And like I said, and then the water is going to take the place of your regular water. So you don't have to use as much tap water. I do recommend that, if you're going to supplement, if you're going to do this and then supplement with water, try filtering your water so that you're not contaminating the coconut water and losing the benefits of it. But yeah. And then,
and so the health benefits you were saying?
The health benefits. There was actually a TV show or a movie a while back that had Tom Hanks in it, Castaway. Okay. Where he lived on an island. I'm sure a lot of people saw it. Had the little Wilson soccer ball
Right.
And in that movie, he lived off of coconuts and fish. That's actually feasible. It can be done. Like I said, they do it in the Philippines. You have most of your B vitamins, C vitamin, E, a lot of manganese, phosphorus. Yeah. It's just loaded. It's just loaded with. It's like a vitamin pack. I mean,
so take that in your fish oil and you could live. Right.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you do need to supplement with some type of a protein because coconuts are very low in protein.
So what about omega-3s? Do you know?
Yeah, that's why they're supplementing with the fish.
Right, the fish oil would.
So, but I mean, it's. And then, I mean, like I said, just opening them is, like I said, is relatively simple. Like I said, once again, I'll try and cut a little more off of this one so you can actually see the coconut. And then you will find, I haven't found one yet that's bad. I haven't opened a single coconut that, had bad water in it or bad meat in it. You will find them to have almost completely clear water, lightly brownish colored water, pink water. And the meat can actually have slight different colors as well. When you can actually see a little bit more of the coconut. And as these mature, that's what happens is the husk will actually turn fibrous and almost hairy-like. And then they just peel it off. And then the entire, the brown coconut's exposed at that point. But like I say, you have the T right there. And I've always found the best place, you have this one side that's bigger than the other two. And if you catch the knife right in front of that, it's usually I've found to be the best spot to get a good, clean whack in there. And then it just,
wow.
It just pops open. But that one actually left the meat inside.
So, and what about the brown? You don't try to get that off or anything?
We did at first. We were actually scraping it off because there's something on the coconut. It's just a light skin that's on there. It won't hurt you. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't affect the taste, the texture, anything. I mean, if you don't like it, you can scrape it off. You can take take the back side of a knife and drag it across it, and it'll come off. Sometimes.
It's really not worth it.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of effort for very little reward. I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah. And then once again, like I said, these things are like just completely full.
Wow.
And so
it's a lot of water.
So yeah.
Can I taste it?
Oh yes, definitely.
Pour me a little.
If I can not make a mess. Let me pour it in this and then.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I use a big bowl when I'm pouring it out of the coconut, is because it likes to run down the edge of the coconut when you're trying to pour it in something small.
Right, and then you just strain it.
So, yeah. But yeah, it should have a real sweet taste.
And it's much stronger than if you buy like a can or something.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very sweet actually.
Yeah, it's much better than the stuff you buy, and when you buy it in the cans. I can't say that they're diluting it because it doesn't say it on the bottle,
no, it doesn't.
But what you get out of it directly out of a coconut is way stronger.
It is very strong.
And if the hole's not big enough, you can always just kind of catch around the outer ring there and break off another piece to make the hole big enough to get the spoon in there. See, and then like this one, you can actually see how the meat is thicker. As they age, the meat's going to get thicker and thicker and thicker, and it's going to occupy more space. And then the water is going to get more like water. It's going to lose its sweetness.
Oh, wow.
Just because I've seen tons of videos on it, and it looks really good. But there, you can pull an entire, and then they also that's your new cup. You can drink out of it if you want.
Right. So does it? If you dehydrated it though, I mean.
Yeah, you can. I mean, in the shell and everything has. They're perfect for compost. You can grind them up and use them for compost. If you've seen the commercials on TV, this right here is what they're grinding up and turning into kitty litter.
Really?
So yeah, there's a company called. There's a company out there. I don't want. But yeah, that's their main ingredient right now.
Wow.
In kitty litter is their use. So I mean, that's basically the ins and outs of a coconut.
Wow, that's awesome.
And like I said, and you can eat this too. I mean, there's nothing. Oh yeah, yeah.
You could just nibble on.
Yeah, and once the same rule applies for the meat. The more gelatinous the meat, the sweeter the meat. As it gets the more thicker and solid. So this one's going to be sweeter than this. But there's probably not a huge taste difference at this point because they're both.
This one looks a little more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this one.
You can see they get more fibrous.
And they get a little tougher.
But
it makes for a good snack.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can definitely cut it up into small pieces. Once you have it in this form, they say you can refrigerate it for a week. So you want to do something with it.
Doesn't last that long at your house?
No, it doesn't. No. The coconuts are immediately converted into something else.
Awesome.
We definitely use them immediately.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate you showing us how to do that. So now we know how to do. Now we know how to do our coconuts that are in the refrigerator. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Enjoyed it.
Thanks. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll tell you, James made it look really easy because when I got my coconuts and I got the sharpest knife in my kitchen, it was not as easy, but he's been doing it for a while, so I hope after some practice that I'll get better at it. Now, I will confess to you that I had to use a hammer and a screwdriver in order to get in mine. I guess the tip on my knife was not quite sharp enough, so it doesn't really matter. As long as you get it open and as long as you can get the goodness out of it, it's good to go. So I have, out of the 2 coconuts, now I have a rather large family, so I've got 4 kids and they're big kids. I got out of there about a cup and a half, almost 2 cups of the meat, and look at all this water. I got a lot of water. This is going to be more than enough to do the pudding, so I'm also going to be able to put this in the refrigerator and drink it later. This full of electrolytes, so it's a very good hydrator, especially in the Louisiana sun. Okay, so in order to make the pudding, now if you've hung around me any amount of time, you know that I can't stand being a slave to recipes, so I don't have a recipe for you today. What I have is just, I'm going to show you how I would put it together, and we'll just see how it goes. So we're going to start with dumping in the coconut meat. Now I'll show you, I didn't bother trying, well, I can't get it out, but I didn't bother trying to get, some of the inside came off, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's got some like brown strips in it and stuff, and I'm not going to worry about those. They feel soft. I tasted them. They don't have much of a taste, so I'm just throwing them in there. So also the water also has, maybe because I was brutal to my coconut, it got some little pieces and stuff in it. So I don't know if you've seen these at the store, but I have this little tea strainer that I'm going to actually pour the coconut water through. Now what I had was about a cup and a half to 2 cups of the coconut meat, but I don't want to use all this water. I'll just end up with a drink, and what I'm looking for is some pudding consistency. So I'm only going to pour about 1/4 a cup in here. Just enough to wet that coconut meat. And we'll put it in here and we'll see what kind of consistency. And you can remember that, you know, you can always add more, but if you add too much, you can't take it away. So let's zap this up. Okay, so I think we need to add a little bit more water. Okay, so that's kind of, now you'll see in there that my pudding, it's not bright white like a lot of, you know, you go watch another YouTube video or you see a blog where they've got pictures and it's all bright white. Sorry, at Old Paths we just get real with it, right? So this is a pretty good, it doesn't look as smooth as I would like it to look, but so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sweeten it. Now, sweetening should be a preference, and so my kids are going to be drinking this, eating this, so I'm going to make it a little sweeter than I would if I was making it for myself. I'm going to use our Mansfield maple syrup, which is just wonderful. I'm going to pour that in there, just about maybe a tablespoon or 2. I'm also going to add some of our stevia. Now the stevia will bump up that sweetness. Without the stevia taste, it'll bump up the sweetness of the maple syrup, but yet it doesn't add the sugars to it. So also going to add this is some of our Simply Organic vanilla extract. Just about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more because I like the vanilla. Now what's so great about this is you can actually do to this whatever you want. At this point it's sweet and it's been vanillaized, and you could add maybe some cocoa to it if you like chocolate. You can add cinnamon to it. Cinnamon brings its own host, especially if you use the Ceylon cinnamon, brings its own host of beautiful nutrients to it. And so this ends up being a very simple treat with a lot of nutrients in it. But we're just going to leave it plain vanilla. And pour this in here. And when you refrigerate it, it'll actually thicken up a little bit. And I don't know if you can see that, but I think that's going to be really wonderful. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope that you can grab you a coconut, grab you some of these good nutrient dense things to add to it, and enjoy your coconut pudding. Y'all have a blessed day.